So recently, I've been really doing my best to give you guys all my gems, all my tips, and my tricks. And today we're talking about 7 habits that changed my life and made me feel like myself again. So let me be honest with you. If your life feels off right now, if you don't fully feel like yourself, if things feel messy and inconsistent, more than likely, it's probably not your entire life. It's probably just your habits.
Find you under all that pain. There's a fire you can't contain. Let it lead the way. You're not lost.
If you don't know who I am and this is your first time seeing my videos, I want to say welcome. My name is Ashley Nicole. I am a women's health and life coach, and I make videos specifically for you, the woman who's just trying to find herself again, creating good habits in her life, and ready to step into that CEO powerhouse self that you can be and that I believe you can be for yourself too. So we're going to get into today's video. So here's the first thing. Habits are the quiet things that are shaping everything in your life. Your body, your habits, your confidence, everything that you tend to do or not do when you wake up in the morning or just throughout your day, throughout your life. So here's my truth. The moment that I changed my habits, my life didn't magically or drastically just change. It was what I started to feel in myself once my habits changed. It took time, it took consistency, it took patience, but when I started to change certain habits in my life, I noticed that lost feeling that I was feeling was going away, and I was starting to feel like me, like Ashley Nicole again. So what I'm willing to and want to share with you is 7 habits that genuinely changed my life over time. Habit number 1 is make your bed. And I know to someone that probably sounds very minute, very small, very insignificant, but here's the thing. If you start your day in chaos, then your mind usually follows it. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is to get up, make your bed, open up your curtains, make your room feel like you're ready and prepared for the day. I've even heard reading books and seeing different podcasts and seeing studies that show people who make their beds in the morning, every single morning, are more successful than people who don't. Is it true? I don't know, but I do know when I make my bed every morning, my room is clean, it's nice, it's tidy, and it's put together. I feel more confident about me starting the day. So it's something that I don't have to come back to or deal with later. And I get it. People are going to say, well, I'm getting right back into the bed. That's not the point. Who wants to come into a messy house, right? A messy house, messy environments causes messy mindsets. So the first thing we're doing, habit number 1 is make your bed. Habit number 2, water before your phone. And I don't mean drinking your bottle of water while holding your phone. I mean, if your alarm clock is on your phone, turn it off. If that even pushes you right to jump on social media or reading text messages or reading emails, then get an alarm clock. If the alarm clock helps you, keep your phone in a different room or keep your phone away from you before you drink your water. So here's what I do. After I wake up in the morning, I make my bed or use the restroom. I make sure to either rinse with either mouthwash or peroxide, because the saliva in your mouth after sleeping, you do not want to drink your water right away. It's actually not good for you because your body detoxes. This is that health coach part of me. But so what I do, make my bed or use the restroom, come back, make my bed, rinse out my mouth and or fully brush my teeth, and then I drink water. It sets my precedence for the day, making sure that I have an understanding or a habit to remind my mind that my phone is not the top priority. It's not the first thing that I need to be doing in the morning. I go ahead, I drink my water, and I don't just mean a sip. Try to drink a full glass, try to drink a full bottle of water, or at least a decent amount so that your body feels refreshed from dehydrating or detoxing while you've been asleep. So no phones before water, no phones before the bathroom, no phones before making your bed. Habit number 3 is daily movement. It's not punishment to myself or forcing myself to do an extreme workout, but for me, after I've done my first 2 habits, I've got myself dressed for the day, I'm prepared, I will typically get into a workout, either going to the gym, teaching a morning class, doing some yoga, doing some stretches, even going outside for a walk is nice, walking on your walk pad, some type of movement to your body. Because here's the thing, movement, it shifts your energy, and when your energy shifts, the rest of your day is going to follow. Habit number 4, I plan for my tomorrow. So the night before I go to bed, or I take time in the evening, maybe after dinner, I plan my day, because when I wake up in the morning and I have no idea what I'm doing, and I don't just mean your regular work schedule, we know those typically stay the same, but if there are other things that you're looking to accomplish, you want to get a workout in, you want to read a book, you want to reach out to a friend, send out some emails, or just take some time for you on your self-care, plan your day the night before. I can honestly say that shift my consistency so much, because when I wake up in the morning, I know what I'm doing versus just letting things go willy-nilly. And that's another thing, when you're planning your life, no matter what that looks like for you, you have to be intentional with what you're doing. So to just wake up and say, hey, I'm going to let life happen to me and I'm going to see what happens, doesn't really help you reach your goals, right? So for me, I don't feel like every single minute needs to be planned, but I at least have an ideal of what I want to do, whether it's a to-do list, whether it's writing it on my phone, whether it's putting it on a calendar, whatever that looks like for you. Make sure to plan your following day the night before so you can stay consistent, you can have a clue of what you're doing, and you won't be frustrated when you feel like you haven't got things accomplished, right? Sometimes those checklists work, sometimes they don't, but just having a clear guide of where you're going next is going to help you tremendously with setting good habits for yourself. Habit number 5 is walking more. Yep, I'm talking to you, the camera, and the people behind the camera. People really underrate walking, right? Walking does a lot of things. One, it's good for your health. You get to get outdoors. I mean, it's good to walk inside if you're in a climate that you can't walk outdoors every single day. But if you're able to get outside, get outside. One, you get to get fresh air. It's mobility to your body. It helps clear your mind. It helps reduce stress. And it just helps you take time to decompress from everything that maybe you experienced the day, or even beginning to start your day, right? Another thing is it resets your energy. It gives you space to think. And to be honest, some of my best ideas have come from me going on a walk, looking at nature, taking time to be grateful, looking, at the clouds, looking at the birds, seeing the free things. It will help me either create certain things that I want to work on for my clients, with them just being more grateful and having more gratitude. It will help to inspire me to write a song. It will help to just clear my mind and just allow me to reset all over again. So make sure that you're getting walks in throughout the week, at least once a day. If you can't do once a day, do a couple times throughout the week. Habit number 6, we're working on reading more instead of scrolling. This is something that I've been doing tremendously, right? So I will post on social media, but for the most part, I get off. And if I have a moment where I'm noticing that I'm scrolling, I will do what I call it is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 or 3, 2, 1, where I'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I will exit out of my social media. But what I've been doing instead, so that it keeps my mind, one, what I'm putting into my mind matters, because it helps with creating good habits. It helps with whatever area of my life that I'm working on, whether it's financial, whether it's personal, whether it's business, whether it's in self-care. I will either read a physical book, which I keep close by, or I will even invest in reading audiobooks, because sometimes I don't have time to sit down and read, but I can play an audiobook in my car when I'm driving to locations. I can play an audiobook while I'm cooking or cleaning or waking up in the morning, brushing my teeth, doing my normal work. But when you're going to get into something of more reading, make sure it's something of substance. You can have your fun books on the side. Trust me, I read my fun books. I'm a fantasy author, so I definitely read my fantasy books, or I read my books that don't have a lot of major substance or really don't add. They add value because it's joy, I will say that, but something that I can take away and use into my day-to-day life. So when you're pushing into reading, find things in areas of what you want for yourself. So for me right now, my biggest thing that I'm reading is financial. I'm reading psychology books. So the book that I just finished today is The Psychology of Money. Next, it's going to be, I think it's like The Way to Spend Money Right or something. So I'm working on finances. I'm working on business. I'm working on personal care as well. So I'm working on a lot of things. I don't have a specific area that I just feel like, oh, I'm only working on this. I have 4 to 5 or 6, 7 areas in which I'm working. And I tend to read about 2 books a week. Yes, they're audiobooks, but then sometimes I will read a physical book too. And then last, but definitely not least, because this one to me is the most important one that helps with all the habits, starting from 1 all the way leading up to 7, is keeping promises to myself. And I'm pretty sure I've said this before in other videos. That is my biggest thing. Even though sometimes we sway when it comes to consistency, or sometimes we feel inadequate, or sometimes we just don't feel like doing it, my biggest thing is, if I'm breaking promises to myself, what is the expectation for other people, right? I'm showing other people how to treat me, right? I'm showing other people what I'm willing to accept even for myself. So the number one thing, actually number 7, is the promises that you keep to yourself. My biggest one is my physical appearance, right? Getting up, combing my hair, making sure that I actually apply myself, even though some days I just want to be comfy and I want to just put on PJs and I want to, overdo it with not really applying myself. I haven't been allowing myself to do that often. I'll let it go once or twice a week, but for the most part, when I'm getting up or I'm recording or I'm stepping outside that door, I'm applying myself. The other one is also physical, with going to the gym. Some mornings I don't want to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I've even thought about changing it and saying maybe I should change the time, because it's 5 o'clock in the morning. Who needs to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to the gym? But this is what I also realized for myself. If I keep breaking promises to myself or always changing things because sometimes it feels uncomfortable, then I'm going to live a very uncomfortable life, and not in a good way, right? I'm going to live a life that isn't to the stature of what I feel like I want. I'm not going to be consistent in my business. I'm not going to be consistent in my relationship. I'm not going to be consistent in my reading, because if I am breaking a promise to myself, then why does all this other stuff matter, right? Why does me getting up and creating a YouTube video that, I don't know, 20 people, 30 people, hundreds of people can see, why does that matter if promises that I'm making to myself, I won't even keep them? Do you think I want to get up every single day and go to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning? Not all the time. It's really the process of getting there, to be honest. It's the process of getting up, getting dressed, putting on clothes, looking presentable for myself, go in here and work out. Once I hit that gym, once I actually step in the threshold, then I'm ready. But it's the process of pushing myself and getting out of the bed when it feels good to snuggle against my husband, when the fan is on and it's cold and I don't feel like getting dressed, because really I don't got nowhere to be until 4 o'clock tonight or 4 o'clock this evening, really, and I still have to stay consistent with getting up, even though, like, today is Tuesday. I have a list of things that I personally want to do, but my Tuesday is open. This is my free day. Does that mean I'm going to sit around and do absolutely nothing? Does that mean I'm going to sit in pajamas and eat ice cream? I want to, but I'm not going to. So the biggest thing is, think about your promises to yourself. How often do you break them? How often do you fulfill promises to other people that they don't even know you've made the promise to them than you do for yourself? Think about that when you're creating the habits for you. You don't have to take my habits. Create your habits, what works for you and what works for your life. But think about the biggest one. As I'm creating these habits, how often am I breaking them? They are a promise to you, because if you said you want to earn more money, if you said you want to get physically fit, if you said you want to work with a life coach, if you said you want to apply yourself or focus on more self-care or be softer or be more gentle, and you're breaking those promises to yourself, then these habits are going to be hell for you to stick to. So here's my truth and why I started to feel like myself again. I can create 1,000 habits. I can write 1,000 to-do lists. I could get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I could do all these things that I feel like is going to add value to my life, because they do. But what I really had to understand is it doesn't happen overnight. My life is not going to change overnight. At least not drastically, is what I kept saying to myself. But then there's also that thought that I have in my mind. What if it does? What if it can? What if I become so consistent and so involved within myself and the things that I want, and I take care of myself and I keep the promises to myself, and I stay consistent with going to the gym, and I eat better, and I apply myself, and I work really hard, and I keep making videos, and I keep reaching out to people, and I keep being present and visible. And one night I go to bed, and the next morning, because I stay consistent, because I created these habits, because I kept my promise to myself, that my life does change. What if I wake up and I have 100,000 followers? What if I make $20,000 in a day or in a month or in a week? Whatever that looks like for me, what if it can change overnight? Now, I'm not saying push for it to just change overnight. I'm saying be in a space where you're open to the possibility that taking care of myself, loving myself, being consistent, making habits for me, not for anyone else, for me, loving me, taking care of me, keeping my promises to me. What if it can change? What if I wake up tomorrow and I am that girl? And I am that powerhouse CEO that I feel like I am and I want to be. What if that one video goes to the next level? What if that one song? What if that one email? What if that one call? What if that one day at the gym? What if that one day of saying, no, I don't want the sweets. I want the nice chicken breast, or whatever it is that you feel like you have for your life. What if that one moment, that one chance, that one choice, that one opportunity is the thing that changes your life? Is the thing that makes you feel like you again? Is the thing that makes you happy? Is the thing that makes you feel found and not lost anymore, out of confusion? What if it did happen? What if it did change overnight? What if you did wake up and you felt like you again? You felt happy. You smiled. You were the energy in the room that people were just attracted to. What if? What if? So here's one final thing I want to leave you on. Becoming her, feeling like her, being her, stepping into the shoes of the woman that you feel like you are deep inside is not built on the habits that are seen in the public. They're built on the habits that are done in private. So you guys know I'm going to say it because I have to at every video. 1, we understand that we live in a world where we don't have control of everything. We understand that as humans, we are going to experience things that hurt, that feel bad, that feel disappointing. I have to say this with love. So what? Get up. And as always, I want you to remember how powerful you are, because you are more than enough. And as always, remember to breathe. If you like this video, make sure to comment below, hit that notification bell, and let me know how you feel about this video. If you want more videos where I'm giving you habits or tips and tricks that will help you become the better or next, because I feel like you're already good, but we know how that mind thinks. The next version of yourself that's already there, she's just laying dormant. As always, guys, until next time.
Find you under all that pain. There's a fire you can't contain. Rather let it lead the way. You're not